what's up? This is Patrick. Welcome to episode 39 of the Double ETF podcast, Everything Except the Football. I hope you guys are doing great. Today we have an Oscars preview with Josh Fitzgerald, John Mutford, and Nick Bambach. I hope you guys enjoy. Unfortunately, we had to use Zoom, and of course, Zoom screwed us over. Instead of recording one audio track per guest, it merged everything into one single audio track for everyone. So you will notice a couple times that we kind of talk over each other, and it was impossible to fix. It's not too bad. Doesn't happen often. And I like to think that it won't stop you from enjoying this. So if you want to drop us a line, you can do so at EETF Pod on Twitter or EETFpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to be a member of the awesome club, that would be fantastic. You could join Carly, Kevin, Josh, Nick, M-Bags, Carly again, Hector, Tom Neuerberg, Tony Greathouse, RJ, Woody, Mike Drew, and Lisa. Also, you can drop us a review on iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcasts. That would be awesome as well. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this Oscars preview, and I hope you enjoy the show on Sunday. Thanks. All right, so with me tonight, I have the pleasure of welcoming Wow, we are off to a flying start here. Okay, so we have two return guests and a newcomer. So let's start with the new guy from, now I gotta have your podcast name right. Yeah, I cannot think of it. I'm sorry. Jesus. Wow.
It's okay. It's Rock in Retrospect.
Yes. I had retrospect in mind, but wasn't sure about the rest. Okay, wow. Sorry. So, Nick Bambach, how are you?
I'm doing very well.
Okay, awesome. Perfect. And back for a fourth time, I think, Movies That Rock. Yes, that's the name. Josh Fitzgerald, how are you?
Hi. Considering it's a Tuesday, I'm doing pretty good.
Awesome. Well, the week is still young. So
It really is.
As my closest friends know, I'm very anti-Tuesday, so.
Sounds good.
So despite that, I'm doing great.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear that. And the black sheep here, the only one without a podcast. What's going on? John Mutford, how are you?
I need to invest in a microphone, I guess.
That's all right. So how are you?
I'm great. I'm away from home right now and enjoying Vancouver, but glad to be joining in today.
Good. Awesome. We are glad to have you here tonight as well. So tonight, the topic is the upcoming Academy Awards ceremony, which will happen on Sunday. Let me ask you guys first, do you have a storyline in mind for this year? Josh, what do you think?
The storyline. Elaborate on that a little.
What do you think will be the main topic this year? Could there be a theme, maybe an anti-war theme, or like maybe
that would be treading on some pretty heavy waters there.
True.
I think it's going to be a little weird because it's the first ceremony in a few years where they've had actual hosts. So I think that is probably going to set the tone either like a great way or a completely disastrous way. Because I'm not going to lie, I was sort of disappointed when they announced that they were going to be hosts because I was kind of digging the flow of the last few ceremonies. Like, okay, we're moving right along here. We don't need people commenting on everything.
They dropped a bunch of categories to make things faster, quote unquote. So
to make it's still going to more monologues and montages.
It's still going to feel like 5 or 6 hours, no matter how you shape it.
For sure. And
I think that's going to be the controversy. I think it's going to be interesting when you're going to watch an Oscars without all the technical categories being in the broadcast. So it's going to be a very weird ceremony, regardless, because you're not seeing like cinematography or sound or costume or those other categories. So I don't know how that's going to play out. Like, I'm curious, but
Yeah.
I'm actually going to disagree. I'm looking forward to the host being back, and I'm also kind of okay with some of the categories they cut, only because they're still going to show the winners and clips from their speeches. I'm okay with that, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, I'm okay with the cutting of some of the stuff too. I think actually what would be kind of cool, I think, and what might like placate some of the film nerds, quote unquote, would to be like have them in like a separate show so that if people
Like-
who are interested, who want to see that can still see it. But then people who don't really like, well, I just want to see like the major award. I just hope they don't throw more filler in just
For sure.
because they have more space. That's the thing I'm wondering about.
So who is hosting this year?
Amy Schumer, Wanda Sykes, and Regina Hall.
Okay.
That's an odd mix of people. That'll be
Yeah.
It is an odd mix. I don't know a lot about Regina Hall, but the other two, I'm a fan of, but I can see them not being enough pomp and circumstance, for the Oscars. I can see the next day a lot of people being sort of not impressed. It's a losing game, I think, for hosts at the Oscars.
It's not a film snob choice, that's for sure.
No, that's
No,
true.
It's not James Franco and Anne Hathaway.
Oh Lord have mercy.
Also that.
What is?
Also
what
true.
I think that it's like no one remembers the Oscar hosts really. So it's kind of like, I don't know, it's a lose-lose. It always feels like no matter how you frame it in a weird way.
I mean,
Yeah,
I remember
like-
some of them pretty clearly, but
I just want Martin Short to host one. Like, when is that ever going to happen? Never, I guess.
That's a good question. I don't have the answer to that. Sorry.
No.
Okay, so if we switch gears a little bit, what would be your biggest surprises and your biggest snobs for the categories this year? Who do you think was left out? Nick, what do you think?
I didn't like the movie really because I watched it a few weeks ago. The movie Passing, it got completely snubbed. But I thought Ruth Negga should have at least gotten a Best Supporting Actress nomination because she was really incredible in that movie. It's on Netflix.
Josh, what do you think?
the only one that really stands out to me is that the only lead actor in Being the Ricardos who deserved to get a nomination, who was Nina Arianda, is the only one who didn't get a nomination. So
Okay.
figure that one out.
Go figure.
Thank
so
you,
John,
Academy.
yes. John,
I
what
would
do you have?
say I was surprised. I think that Worst Person in the World was nominated for Best International, but not Best Picture over Drive My Car. I will say that was a surprise to me.
Okay. I would have gladly switched Don't Look Up with The Worst Person in the World for Best Picture.
And put 2 internationals in there. I'd be okay with that too, actually.
Yes. Yeah, because okay, I don't want to spoil, but I hated Don't Look Up. Really did enjoy it. Really did not. Okay,
Right.
so yeah, we can jump in.
And I just want to throw in there real quick that
Sure.
I squeezed in one last movie to watch right before we started recording this, and it was Don't Look Up. So I finished it maybe like 20 minutes ago.
Okay, so
Okay. Very fresh.
What did you think?
Oh, do you want to start now, or do you want to wait
Sure.
till we?
No, sure.
Okay. Well, I'm here for the hot takes.
Please.
I didn't hate it. I kind of dug it, actually.
Okay.
All the criticisms that people are throwing at it are accurate. Like, it's kind of a hot mess. It's a little bit on the smug side. But I also have a little bit of a theory that a lot of the people who are hating on this movie are struggling to accept our sad reality of our existence. Because it kind of like, with this mental state I've been in, watching the world sort of like fall apart around us, and there's nothing that we're doing to really stop it. It sort of resonated with me on that level.
I will add to you, Josh, too, that it's not my least favorite of the ones. I don't think the movies that are nominated for Best Picture, it's not my least favorite. I still don't think it's Oscar worthy, but I didn't hate it as a comedy. I was fine with it. I'll be honest with you.
To be honest with you, I didn't really laugh that much. I didn't find it all that comedic. I actually found it kind of sad and disturbing in a lot of ways. And I know that wasn't the point of it. And I know that wasn't what he was going for, but I kind of read it that way. And I think maybe it's just because, we're drowning in the news right now and everything that as a species, we're past the point of no return. Like, we're pretty much like, we're inevitably going to be like killing ourselves off over the next century.
I was going to say we are,
and this really spoke to that. Yeah.
We are drowning in something else than news, but
right.
Yeah.
Right.
I get that.
And of course it's heavy-handed. It's really, and of course it's ridiculous and over the top. But I also appreciate the fact that he kind of just, like Adam McKay, just kind of went for it and didn't really sugarcoat and pull any punches. And it's just like, yeah, we are totally doomed. And here we go.
I thought it was heavy-handed too, but I also think a lot of satire is, so it didn't bother me in that regard.
Nick, you were going to say something?
My problem with the movie was it just felt so overlong because it's almost 2.5 hours.
Yes.
And it just felt like
every movie this year is like that.
Oh my God, stop. Like between June and Drive My Car. Oh my God. It's like, let's just make everything 3 hours just to make us
like push my car.
The lost art of editing.
Push my car.
Drag my car.
It felt so overlong. And it was just like, I thought it was kind of pandering too, in a way. It's like, I don't know. It's hard to explain. Like, I just didn't resonate well with me for some reason, but maybe I need to rewatch it. So
I
watch CNN for an hour and then watch Don't Look Up. Then it'll connect with you.
I'm with you, Nick, on that one. I mean, I don't mind when it's on the nose, but I thought it was a little bit too much. And like, I don't mind parody, but in this case, I was rolling my eyes more than enjoying it. And it's weird because I really like the Big Short. I thought I enjoyed the Big Short a lot more than this.
I think it's when like the notion of like someone who is very smart, they kind of like were smarter than you. That's what this movie kind of felt like to me a little. Like it's almost like it's talking down to you a little. I don't know. It didn't resonate well with me, but also I need to rewatch it, I think, because I've heard like some people love this movie and then I've heard people say they hate it. So it's like, I think it's probably the most polarizing movie of these 10 nominees.
Probably. I also agree with what you said earlier, Josh, that most people who hated it was because of the message it conveyed. I get what you mean, but that's not why I didn't like it. I agree with the message. I mean, we are, heading straight for the wall, pedal to the metal.
Yeah.
So
we're driving ourselves right off that cliff and we don't give a shit either way.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that guy who jumped off a building and on the way down, the only thing that he could think of was, so far so good.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I don't think it has a snowball's chance in hell of winning.
No way.
No, I don't think so. It was nominated for a couple of other categories, I think.
Best original score, because the guy who does the Succession theme, which is some Adam McKay produced show, which I love Succession. That show is amazing. Mm-hmm. They're definitely nominated for that. And I think screenplay, because Adam McKay usually gets a screenplay nomination.
Okay.
And
that was
why? Because it didn't deserve it, but best editing. This movie needed to be better edited, I think.
Can I tell you, I can't think of one single movie released this entire year that deserves best editing. Not one.
No.
Yeah, good shout. I agree.
Not a single one.
I agree.
Agree, 100%.
Maybe one that, I mean, it's not nominated for anything, but I saw this movie a couple of days ago called Sundown with Tim Roth and Charlotte Gainsbourg. I don't know if you have... Anyway, look it up. It's like a low-key leaving Las Vegas. It's good. And it's about like 1 hour and 25 minutes. So that's nice.
Oh my God, under 90 minutes in 2022? What's going on?
Right? Yeah, it's crazy.
Maybe they just think that pandemic people have nothing else to do except sit around and watch movies all day. So we'll just make this as long as possible.
Yes, good shout. All right, so okay, we can talk about each nominee one by one and see what you guys think. Okay, so let's start with Belfast. John, what did you think?
I enjoyed it, actually. And it was overlong, as again, all of these were. I like
common theme.
Yeah, I like the black and white and the use of color for the fantasy elements when they were watching a movie. I thought cinematography, although cinematography across the board for these movies this year was strong, unlike the editing. And I enjoyed the performances. Judi Dench was nominated again, and I really loved her understudied performance there. She reminded me so much of my grandmother in the way she acted, and it's such a low-key performance that I kind of dug it. It again wouldn't be my pick, and I don't think it has much of a chance, but I enjoyed it.
All right, Josh,
didn't see it. I don't really know anything about it. Sorry.
That's all right. Nick,
I really like this movie. It's actually one of my favorites of the nominees this year. I think we don't say this enough, but Jamie Dornan has really grown as an actor over the last 5 to 7 years, like in the wake of, the 50 Shades of Grey series. Like he's really made a lot of wonderful movies. And he was just on that show, The Tourist, which I highly recommend. That was really, really Good, that's on HBO. I liked it because I'm kind of a sucker for like Irish, because I'm like part Irish, but also like, I don't know, like that, like history and culture. And it's just such a beautiful film about such a turbulent time in Irish history, like the late 60s with Northern Ireland and those political struggles that they were having with the IRA. Just a really wonderful movie. It seems like a little like Oscar bait. Like I could see why some people might not like it because it kind of connects all the dots for, you know, you need this, that, and the other to get like your 6 or 7 Oscar nominations. But I liked it. I mean, it's a good hour and a half movie. I think it has to be the shortest movie on the list.
It probably is. I didn't check, but it probably is. I liked it, but it didn't connect with me completely. And for one reason, one weird reason, I don't mind black and white movies usually, but I couldn't figure out why this one was shot in black and white, because I felt like it made it look like it was like during the Prohibition, you know, and it wasn't that long ago, you know?
So if you notice, like in the movie, their color sequences had the play that they were watching and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang in the movie theater. So I think whatever was outside the world of Ireland was like color, and it was like, you know, they were living like in grim times in Irish culture, like the symbolism, I guess, of that choice. But it's kind of strange in a way.
And I mean, the first 5 minutes were in color as well. And I thought it looked amazing. And I was like, okay, so if you want to show me 2 hours of that, like of drone shots of Belfast, I'm in.
Well, in the special features, they have a deleted scene, and it's the alternate ending, which is the last 5 minutes of the movie, which it would have been. It is in color. Okay. Like, I don't want to spoil anything for anyone who hasn't watched the movie, but like it takes place in modern Germany. Or I'm sorry, modern Ireland. Oh my word! It really is. It's not even Tuesday, and I'm already getting my days confused. Modern Ireland, because he goes back to Ireland.
Oh, okay. Cool. So, I didn't know that. All right.
It was worth cutting, though, because it really wasn't that good the last 5 minutes. So they ended it the right way.
Okay. Good to know. All right. So next one, Coda. Nick, let's start with you.
Okay. I love this movie. Like, I watched it last summer, and when I had an Apple TV subscription, and I was like, okay, let's put this on. This was before the Oscars. I really enjoyed it, and I thought the music in it was so beautiful, and the performances were wonderful, and I really think it's a groundbreaking movie about a segment of the population that really doesn't get a lot of spotlight, and it rarely has been explored in movies. And I just thought it was so sweet. And I know it's sappy in a weird way, but I love the ending with the rendition of Both Sides Now. It's so beautiful. It's like, I don't know. I love Coda.
Okay. Josh?
I liked it fine. It was all right. I don't quite share the same level of love for this one as a lot of people do. I thought it worked better in the beginning when it was more of a family drama, at least for me anyway. Just as for what my taste in movies. I just like seeing the inner workings of them as a family, and the representation, and the fact that their struggles are shown as just their regular family struggles, and not showing their deafness as being any kind of handicap or anything. I thought that is very refreshing. And I love that kind of representation in a mainstream movie. Where it kind of loses me, though, is how they kind of decide to focus a little bit more on her and her dreams. And, you know, I that whole part of the movie kind of lost me. And it felt a little bit too cliche and sappy for my tastes. Like, how many times do we need to hear Both Sides Now used as an emotional climax in a movie? And just like
anytime, Josh. Really? I'm a sucker for it.
Let me. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It's one of the best songs ever written. I love it dearly, but come on.
Oh, come on.
I know, it's my cold dead heart.
Never.
But that was just kind of my main issue with it. I think I would have maybe liked a little bit more just of like the family story rather. Because I mean, it reminded me of like a lot of movies you'd see similar to like foreign families, you know, like families coming over from, you know, to America, and the kid wants to make it. It felt very much of that mold, just with, you know, the
that's a remake of a French movie from like 10 years ago.
Yes.
Interesting. Yep. Okay. Yeah. So that was my take. It was pretty good. It was all right. I don't quite revel in it as much as a lot of people do, though.
Okay.
Just my own personal taste.
Sure, that's what we are here for. So no problem. John, what about you?
I loved it. I will go with Nick on this one. I think if there's one that's going to upset Power of the Dog taking the whole thing, it could be Coda. That it seems to have picked up more steam. I cried for it. I will admit I cried for it. And if a movie can do that to me, then yeah, it gets props. So, and I got to represent the Canadian side and say, yeah, to the Joni Mitchell song. So yeah. And you asked earlier too about surprises or disappointments. I'm not sure that I would put the dad as the guy that played the dad in the best supporting actor category. I enjoyed his performance. I don't know if it was that good, but the daughter, I think maybe you could say she was snubbed, the one that the movie was focused on. I think she did a great job.
Well, it's interesting, John, because he won the Screen Actors Guild Award for support actor, and that's usually a really good indicator for the Oscars. So I think he could potentially win.
Yeah, his just didn't stand out as any more than anybody else's in the movie for me. So I'm not sure why he's getting all the praise, but maybe other people saw stuff I didn't. And I enjoyed it. Clearly, it's my favorite movie of this whole batch. So
you're seeing both sides now. Don't judge.
I liked it as well. A little Oscar baity. That's true. I guess it could win, but I don't think it was the best movie of the bunch. But I guess I'm in between both clans on this one.
Right.
Okay, next up, Don't Look Up. We covered it. Next up would be Drive My Car. Let's start with Josh.
This is one I actually really do want to see, but I haven't gotten the chance to see it yet. I haven't had 3 hours to set aside to push any cars yet. So
a 3-hour drive, John.
Yeah.
All right. So, John, did you see it?
I did. Too long. Okay. I enjoyed parts about it. Cinematography was great. I thought the first half an hour was more interesting than the rest of the movie, and then it sort of got really slow. But there were still parts I enjoyed. It was a sort of an unconventional relationship, or didn't go where I expected it to go for a typical movie. But it was too long and too slow. That really could have been edited down. The chauffeur of the car, that's another one that could be put into Best Supporting Actress category and was not. Yeah,
I agree. Yeah. Nick, did you see it?
I did. It was actually the last Best Picture nominee, and I was intimidated because of the runtime, because it's like 3 hours, and I liked it, but I don't know about everyone else. I don't really see the big, I don't know. I just don't see what the, I guess, praise is for this movie. It feels like it's so overpraised, and I don't know if that kind of tainted me a little, because I agree with John. Like, I watched it, and it has the markers of like Ozu, like, you know, the Japanese director who did like Tokyo Story, and like those classic Japanese movies, like where it's like a very slow style. It kind of reminisces that, but I don't know, like I enjoyed parts of it, but then some parts moved way too slow for me. And, you know, we were joking around, but it was kind of a drag at times, like, you know, and it's just, I don't know. I don't know if I watched it too late at night and just wasn't absorbed into it as much as I should have. But yeah, I don't get all the praise for it, even though it's beautifully shot. I will say, like, the theater sequences and the drive-in sequences, they are very beautiful.
Yes.
But it just didn't hit me as much as I wanted it to.
You have to be in the mood to watch that kind of movie. That's true.
And any movie that starts 45 minutes, the credits, I don't know, like that's always dicey for me too. It's like, it's like 45 minutes into the movie. Oh, here's the credits. You're like, oh, I don't know.
I really liked it. I went in blind and I thought it would be more of a road movie, and it turned out not to be. That's okay. I don't know. I really liked it. I guess I knew about the long runtime, so I didn't mind. I also watched it at 1.5 speed. Maybe that helped.
I watched it at regular speed, Patrick.
No, I know I'm a horrible movie watcher sometimes.
Oh, no, you got to do what you got to do.
Sorry. But no, I really liked it, honestly, more than I thought I would. You know, I don't know.
It was interesting that one also had a deaf character.
Yes. I thought of that too, John.
True. That's true.
Yeah.
I liked it.
I think the irony is the short story turned into a 3-hour movie. I think that's just that says everything. But but I will say it is nominated also for international movie, which you'll probably win, I would think. If it's up for the bigger Oscars like director and screenplay, it has a really good shot to win international.
Probably.
Or at least be a front runner, I think.
Yes. Sorry,
I was
John?
just going to say on Nick's point there, it is weird to me that it could lose in the best international movie if it wasn't nominated for best picture overall. I don't know why. I seem to think that if it got a nomination for best picture, it stands to reason that it would automatically get the best international, but maybe not. I don't know.
It's going to win one or the other, most likely. I get what you're saying.
That'd be funny if it did not win best international picture, but won best picture.
Yes.
Oh my God, that would be great.
Yes, it would be amazing. All right. So, okay, next up, Dune. Let's start with John.
So it was probably one of the less boring of these movies, but as a science fiction movie,
that sounds harsh.
But I still found it kind of boring. I mean, it looked good. I never could get into Dune. Now, I will say I've tried the book, I've tried the graphic novel. Of all three mediums, the movie appealed to me more, and I will probably see the second half when it comes out. And I suspect then if it wins any awards, that's when it'll get awards, sort of like the Lord of the Rings sort of thing that happened, right? But no actors got nominated from Dune.
Nope, that's correct.
Should any of them gotten Oscar nominations? I don't know.
I mean, Rebecca Ferguson was good, but Oscar, maybe, but I mean, I'm not like offended that she didn't get a nomination.
No, and I guess I'm not either. And even actors in there that I like Oscar Isaac, he doesn't last long.
Yes. Spoiler.
Yeah, sorry.
Poor Oscar.
Oscar is not going to get his Oscar this year. All right. So, Josh, what about you?
Yeah, I really liked it. Visually, I thought it was extraordinary. Like seeing it on the big screen. Like there are images in that movie that are like just, branded in my brain that were just so incredible to see. In the special effects department, it's remarkable.
Would you consider Denis Villeneuve not being nominated for Best Director a snob? I would.
Yeah. Didn't realize he wasn't. I suppose I would. To me, that was what the selling point was. Like I found it very immersive, even though I didn't entirely follow what was going on. It's very dense, as anybody who is familiar at all with it knows, and quite dry, no pun intended. But I still found myself really immersed in it and really, really sucked into just the atmosphere of it and the tone and the images. My experience to watching it, like if I feel like I could get into it in a way like I was watching something like Fantasia. Where you almost don't even, the plot is almost like it's there, but it's not essential to enjoying the movie, at least for me. So
this is a movie that I most regret not having seen in the theater, because you mentioned seeing it on the big screen and watching it on the small screen. It really felt that I was missing out. Whereas like drive my car, I could care less if I saw that in the theater.
Right. Or at all.
What about you, Nick? Yes.
I like Dune. I'm going to be I'm just going to say this as a full disclosure. Sci-fi is not my favorite genre. So it's kind of unfair for me to evaluate this movie in a way. But I do like some sci-fi. It's good. I think it's a little bloated and a little boring at times. But I was thinking exactly what John just said. I wish I kind of saw this in the theater, because I think I would have had that experience. I probably would have enjoyed it more than watching it on HBO. Yeah. So for me, it was good. And it has like a really great all-star cast, but I found the story a little confusing. And I don't really know much about the Dune universe, like the books or anything like that, but it just wasn't something that I liked in my living room to watch, but it would probably be amazing on the big screen. So when the sequel comes out in 2 years, I'll probably rewatch it.
I saw it at the theater, and it probably influenced my choice as well, because it might be near the top of my list. But yeah, and also as you mentioned, Nick, that's true that if you're not familiar with the source material, there's going to be a couple of things that you would be like, huh, okay, that's odd. But yeah, I get it. All right, so next up we have King Richard. I didn't see it. Let's start with you, Josh.
No,
You
didn't
haven't
see
seen
this
it?
one.
Okay. John?
Sports film allergy. Sorry.
Yeah, I get that. That's okay. I understand. John, what do you think?
It was okay. I enjoyed it. It didn't bore me. The King Richard himself was a bit of an obnoxious character to me. I mean, I know he's based on a real person. So in that regard, I guess they captured maybe what a lot of people feel about him. I don't think Will Smith deserves an Oscar nod for it. And in fact, he's probably the front runner to take it. But
I
to
didn't know
me,
that. Okay.
he put it in a really toned down performance for Will Smith. So I will give him credit there. And it's probably one of his better performances, but it never rose above a impersonation to me.
Okay.
That said, if I had to pick somebody for Best Supporting Actress, I would probably pick the woman that played his wife in that movie. And she is up for it, but I don't think she has a shot for it. Her name is, I think, Ingenue Ellis, but she was amazing in it. And the story was pretty good, actually, and a lot of strong performances by people other than Will Smith in the movie.
All right. Nick, what do you have?
Okay, so this is a movie I was so hesitant to watch of the 10 nominees because I love biopics. I don't know why. I'm just always interested in people's life stories and whatnot, but I enjoyed it. I think it's a good Saturday, Sunday afternoon kind of movie. Like I wasn't wowed by Will Smith's performance, but the wife, like John said, she was really great in the role as the wife and the mother of the children. I thought it was just weird. I don't know about you, John. I thought it was really bizarre that how they framed the story around the father and not Venus and Serena. Like to me, I couldn't kind of get over that because it's like you have these two like iconic athletes that literally are game changers for their sport, tennis, and you're focusing on the father. Like I don't know. It's just it was very bizarre to me the way it was structured as like a biopic. But it does have some really stunning tennis sequences, and it does have like a good uplifting story. It kind of reminded me a lot of like The Blind Side or like those kind of like sports movies of the last decade where they make you feel good, kind of, and you're like that they're gonna get to where they're gonna go. So I don't know, but it was okay. Like it wasn't like changing the world per se, but it's not one of the better movies on this list.
I remember the Williams sisters when they started their career, and I remember that I found their father to be so annoying that when I saw that movie, I was like, I have no interest in watching this. So that's why I skipped this. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, it does have a really good story behind it. Like coming from like nothing or like the life that they came from to becoming who they are. It is a really inspirational story in that regard. And it has Beyonce singing a song. So anytime Beyonce puts her songs on anything, it's always an event. And she might win for best song too.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
so,
They couldn't get Beyonce to cover the Beatles' Drive My Car for that movie.
She'd make it work.
Oh, yeah. Single-handedly saved the movie.
All right. So next up, we have Licorice Pizza from Paul Thomas Anderson. John, have you seen it?
This is my least favorite, Patrick. I cannot stand this movie. I did. This movie rubbed me the wrong way from the opening scene to the very end. The music was good. I enjoyed the music. To me, it was a bunch of odd conversations that nobody would have in real life. And the story was just all over the place. I didn't like the acting. There's nothing except for the music that redeemed it for me. Well, maybe the look. It looked good. It captured the time that way. There was an odd moment of racism just thrown in there. It was,
that was from the character. That was not from the movie itself. That character was a piece of shit. I'm sorry?
Yeah, but it had nothing really to add to the plot except he's just some racist weirdo.
Yeah, or maybe it was kind of like maybe back then, just to emphasize on the fact that back then it was like normal. People wouldn't bat an eye.
I get that, but if the movie was about racism or about that character more, I could see them saying, yeah, it was accurate for the time. But it just, you cut out his parts of the movie, and the movie still holds.
Yeah,
So I don't know
absolutely.
why I put it in.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's absolutely true, though. That's true.
Yeah,
All right.
I did not enjoy it.
Okay. Josh, have you seen it?
Didn't see this one either. I missed it when it was in the theater. But I will just say that for me personally, PTA's films as of recent have been mostly diminishing returns for me. So I don't really have expectations for this one.
Okay. All right. Nick, what do you think?
Before I go into it, I agree with Josh 100% because he's one of my favorite directors. And sometimes it's hard to get behind some of his most recent stuff, like Inherent Vice. I always call it Incoherent Vice because it's just nothing. But no, like some of his more recent stuff has been hit or miss for me too. But I actually really loved this movie. I thought it was really fantastic how he created this tapestry, like almost like a Robert Altman movie in a way. And he's telling this story of this specific time and place in 70s California. And I don't know, I really liked it. And I think I liked it partly because it's like vignettes almost. Like you kind of see like the Tom Waits and Sean Penn and Bradley Cooper characters, and they kind of don't overstay their welcomes. They're almost like cameos, but they made it work. But if you like Paul Thomas Anderson's movies, you kind of appreciate that. You kind of expect that, almost like that quirkiness or like the not unrealistic, but it's just like hard to explain. But he's just one of those filmmakers that like he kind of bends like the realism aspects, like with like the dialogue and even the soundtrack choices. And I really enjoyed it. I saw this one in the theaters. I think this might be the only Best Picture nominee I saw in the theaters. I actually drove to another state to go see it because I know it was, but it was only like an hour, like 15 minutes away. But I went to Colorado to go see it. And I think I was one of like 4 people in the theater. So, you know, almost as many people that's on this episode right now. So I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. But no, I really enjoyed it a lot. I think it's really fantastic movie. Although I can see why it's polarized and it may be like off-putting to a lot of people. Because I've heard more people say they really didn't like this movie. But, you know.
Yeah. I liked it quite a bit. I enjoyed, I mean, it's going to sound weird, but I enjoyed how low stakes it was. Like, you know, there wasn't any like big thing or anything. It was just like, you know, a younger guy falling for an older girl. And as you said, Josh, it's true that his most recent movies have been, but this one, it clicked. And I gotta say that Elena Heim, I didn't know anything about her, but I thought she was really, really good.
I literally Googled while I was watching the movie because I'm like, is that her? And then I hate to be on my phone while I'm in the theater. And I was like, oh my God, it is. And you saw like the rest of their family there. And I got like way too excited in the movie theater when I made that discovery. And also that's Philip Seymour Hoffman's son is the lead actor, which I think was really a nice touch because he worked so closely with Paul Thomas Anderson.
That's true.
It's a nice homage to that.
I was just going to say, on the subject of his other movies, I really, really love Boogie Nights. So it's it was a real disappointment for me that I disliked this one so much.
You couldn't get down with this one.
Yeah, you can kind of see the slow decline in quality after like There Will Be Blood, and it just kind of slowly.
I think for any person, There Will Be Blood is like the peak point of anyone's career. I think you think The Master, which I liked, but no one else liked.
Oh yeah, I liked it.
You know, that's, you know, yeah, I agree. He just hasn't really made a really great movie since, I guess, this one, because this one I really liked.
It probably was his best since maybe the Master, I guess, or There Will Be Blood. I mean, I might be forgetting one, but
Phantom Thread's the other one that came out a few years ago.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
I didn't see it either.
I saw it and I thought it was kind of overrated. People were kind of losing their minds about it, and I was like,
Daniel Day-Lewis does that to everyone.
There you go. All right. So next up, we have Nightmare Alley. Josh, have you seen it?
Another one I really want to see because a lot of it was filmed in Buffalo, and I know, like, I remember when they came to film it, it was like this big deal. But no, I haven't gotten a chance to watch it yet, sadly.
Okay, John.
I'm a huge fan of Guillermo del Toro, but I gotta say this one didn't do a whole lot for me. It looked great. I didn't mind the acting, but the story just was sort of a mess to me. So of all of his movies, it's probably my least favorite. It wasn't a complete dud, but I think coming from him and knowing it was nominated for an Oscar, I was hoping for more than what I got.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it okay, but I thought it was way too long, and I don't understand why it would be a Best Picture nominee, to be honest. Nick, what do you think?
So I like this movie okay. I thought it was a little bloated and over long, and I thought the story was very confusing. Because it really did pick up to like what the actual film was about. I thought until like an hour into it, and it's a remake of the Tyrone Power movie from like the late 40s, and that's like 40.
Did you see that
minutes.
one?
Yes, it's actually really great. It just got added to the Criterion Collection about a year or so ago, and I think Del Toro actually is. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's like the commentary or he does something on that collection because he has movies in the Criterion Collection. I liked it okay. Like Bradley Cooper, he's always great to see it. I always am a fan of his work and Cate Blanchett, but I don't know. I just thought it was a hot mess in terms of the story. I'm just like, what is this movie trying to be? And it felt like it was like two different movies, or two different stories that were trying to be told at times. I don't know. I just wasn't as big of a fan of it. But then I thought to myself, this one would probably benefit seeing in a theater because it's so grandiose and so beautiful. It's a beautiful movie. Just
yes, absolutely.
I don't know. Did you see it?
Yes.
Did you? Well, I'm actually not the host. Did you like it though?
I liked it okay, but yeah, as you said, a little bit too long. It looks great, production design and all that, excellent. But yeah, it could have been shorter. And
so many of these movies are getting the exact same review. Hearing the same things over and over again for all these movies. Too long, looks great.
I hate to say it, Josh. I think I looked at the quick count. I think 7 of the 10 are 2.5 hours or more.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's probably a first, right?
Yeah, it has to be.
Yes.
Do you think Bradley Cooper was snubbed?
No.
Okay.
He was okay, but like, you know.
Yeah, it just came to mind because he's in 2 of this year's movies, although so is Timothy Chalamet, and neither one of those were nominated for.
Which
Cate
one?
Blanchett too.
Is she in 2?
Yeah. She's in
Don't Look Up. Nightmare Alley.
Oh, right. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Well, I mean, like between Don't Look Up and Licorice Pizza and Nightmare Alley, they all have like 800 actors in it. So the amount of crossover is probably like really high.
Yeah, but a lot of the best actress and acting nods all come from movies that weren't up for Best Picture. I find that really weird.
Actually, I thought this could have got a director nomination because he, is an Oscar-winning filmmaker, and it is a well-made movie. Like, even though I thought it was a little flawed, but it is beautifully shot. So I'll give him that.
I mean, didn't he win Best Picture for The Shape of Water as well?
Yes, he did.
He did. Yeah.
Did you guys think it was the best movie of that year?
No way.
Not.
It was all right, but like nothing special. I don't think.
And the story's just kind of weird to me too. Like, I don't know. I was just like, okay, it's fishy, a little fishy. See, I'm making all these.
I was actually good with that one winning Best Picture, I'll be honest, but I would not be okay with this one winning Best Picture.
Okay.
This is not going to win Best Picture. Like, it's just a filler. God, no. This is like remember when they used to have the 5 and it was like really hard to get a nomination because there were only 5, and now they have to have 10. It feels
it's
like
too easy.
good old days. Now it's too easy just to get a nomination. It's like, what does it say about you if you don't get?
We should play that game of what 5 would get nominated if that was the rule.
I think easy.
Right? Okay, yeah, we have 2 movies to go, and then we can do that. Right. That's an excellent idea, honestly.
Okay.
Nice. Well done. You should host. Okay.
Maybe I'll start my own podcast sometime.
You could. All right. So next up we have, speaking of polarizing movie, The Power of the Dog. Crickets.
Okay. So that's just,
Nick,
the music in the movie.
Yes.
Wasn't sure who you wanted to start with.
My bad. Nick, go ahead.
Okay, so this is probably gonna win Best Picture because it has all the momentum, it seems, going into the Oscars. I think that it's about time Jane Champion finally gets the recognition she deserves as one of the best filmmakers of the last 4 decades.
I don't know about Jane Champion, but I agree with you about Jane Campion.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jane Campion. You know what's funny? In the movie club I host, we had to like correct ourselves like every 5 minutes because everyone kept saying the name wrong. So I'm sorry, Jane. Please don't put out a statement like you did about. Please don't. And watch me never come back in the show. They're gonna blackball me. No, it's a really wonderfully acted movie. Like it has some of the best performances from Benedict Cumberbatch and who's the boy that plays the son? He's incredible.
Cody Smith McPhee.
He's excellent in this movie. Yes. So is Kristen Dunst and her boyfriend Jesse
Plemons.
Whatever his
Oh, that's your hubby. They're past that stage.
Oh, they're married?
Oh yeah.
He brought it on. No, but I'm really happy for Kristen Dunst, though. I'm really
Josh is shaking his head.
I'm really happy.
Is it because she's drop dead gorgeous? Is that why?
Keep it up. Keep it up.
I'm really happy though for Kristen Dunst because I think she's always been a great actress and she's never really gotten the praise or accolades I don't think she's gotten or should have gotten. So it's really nice to see her get an Oscar nomination for this movie. And it's so beautifully shot too. Like, I don't know. I was a fan of this movie.
Wasn't she nominated for Melancholia a few years ago?
She should have.
It's like one of my biggest snubs ever.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Okay.
God damn you, Lars Van Trier. No, I'm joking. Bringing people to the brink of insanity.
Well, but, you know that every time that she does like some kind of prestige movie, the director says something really awful to put their foot in their mouth and pretty much kills her chance of like getting any kind of awards.
The only one who's good is Sofia Coppola. So, you know, but she's amazing.
Have you heard what Sam Elliott said about that movie on Mark Nice's podcast?
Told the joke I was going to make.
Oh, shit. I'm sorry.
No, I'm kidding.
I'm sorry.
Okay. But
that was brutal. Yeah, look it up, listeners. If you
but her response is everything, though. Like she just like calls him out, and like you don't mess with Jane. That's all.
Which 5 minutes later, she's completely deflated by making that racist comment about the Williams sisters. Yeah. So
can't win them all. John, what did you think?
I agree. The acting was amazing, and I think it deserves all the acting nominations it got. Maybe the directing too. I wasn't a fan of the story of the movie. I found it very slow again. Too long, too slow.
Common theme.
Yeah. And contrary to Sam Elliott's comments on it, I actually thought they were too shy on the area of the gay storyline. I thought they could have...
Spoiler.
Oh, yeah. Spoiler, that's true.
But I thought it could have been gayer, to be perfectly honest.
That's me singing the Brokeback Mountain theme.
Yeah.
Well, really quick random.
I thought you played it too safe there. I remember when, do you know Scott Thompson from Kids in the Hall? So when Philadelphia first came out, he went on a big tirade about movies trying to get Oscars and stuff with a gay storyline, but we're too afraid to really explore it more. And I kind of felt this was old school in that way. I just felt it was a little too timid, I'll be perfectly honest.
Was a bit subdued, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay,
and
good point.
But, you know, lots of strong things about the movie. And I think Nick is right. It's probably got the biggest chance of winning. And the acting was good. I thought Jesse Plemons was good until people corrected me that he plays pretty much the same character in whatever movie he's in. But anyway, he worked. Kirsten Dunst was fantastic in it, and as were the other two acting nominations. So there were things I liked about it, but it's not a movie that I would care to watch again. It was just too long and too boring.
Nick, you were going to say something?
Oh, I was just going to make a random fact. Do you guys know who was going to buy the movie or the book rights to this many, many years ago, but he never did?
I heard about that, but I forgot who it was.
Because I said it to you. It's Paul Newman. Paul Newman was going to make this into a movie many, many years ago, but then Paul passed. So You know, well, he didn't pass away. He just passed on the riots. Well, he's just dead. So I don't know what I'm saying. But
Cool
you know,
hand Luke.
It wasn't Newman's own.
oh, but you can see the parallels with that in HUD. So like one of his greatest roles, which was HUD, I saw a lot of commonality with that. I think it's actually the best Western in the last like 30 years, at least since I think Unforgiven. Like that's like probably the last great Western that I could think of. Like that's like a universally thought of as like a great Western.
I don't disagree, but I would throw my recommendation in the ring. I think we talked about that one before. It was called the Proposition,
Like 2005 or like around that era.
Yes, with John Hurt and Guy Pearce, and
That's a great movie.
Yes, from Jim Hillcoat, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a pretty kick-ass Western from in Australia. It's awesome. Check it out, listeners, if you have the chance. I like The Power of the Dog. Long, yes, but I watched it at 1.5 as well on the treadmill, nothing less.
I think you're on something.
Whoa.
So maybe that's why I didn't mind that it was, it took its time because I wasn't going anywhere anyway, So no, I really liked it, honestly. All right, so the last one on the list, and that one I haven't seen either, West Side Story. Josh, let's start with you.
All right, I'm going to give my thoughts also for Power of the Dog because you totally skipped me, Patrick.
I thought you hadn't seen it. I'm sorry.
No, I have seen this. No,
Okay,
I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. No, I don't really have honestly that much to add. Except I really liked it. I really liked it a lot. And I just wanted to mention John had an interesting point about the kind of pulling her punches on the gay stuff. And thought about that. I kind of would have to watch it again to see how I feel about that, because there's a part of me that also is thinking, like, considering the setting and the time and place and how just mentally distraught he was, how much of it could have happened, like to what extent would have been appropriate to have been to show. But that intrigues me to go back and kind of with that context and see, because that's a really good point. But this is probably my second favorite. I mean, if I had seen all of them, it might be in a different ranking, but just based on the few that I've seen, this is my second favorite. I think it's beautiful. There are slow moments, but I've never really felt myself bored by it, probably because it's not like a super long movie. It still manages to be under 2 hours. I always love Kirsten Dunst. Anything she does, I'm pretty much all in. And that's about it. Those Aussies know how to make Westerns.
They do.
Yeah, somehow, yes.
Yeah, don't tell Sam Elliott, but yeah.
All right, so West Side Story. Keep going.
All right, I think we all know how I feel about this movie. This is my favorite by like a significant margin. I do feel like Spielberg miraculously somehow managed to best the original, which is a classic in and of itself. And this really just reframed the entire, like something, it's like such a property that is so tried and true that that's been such a part of my life and my DNA for nearly my entire life, managed to recontextualize it so significantly for me is really something I never could have imagined doing. It's beautiful. I think also he managed to improve, like, I know obviously I saw the movie before I knew anything about like the sexual allegations with the lead actor in it. But I do think he managed to improve even on the two leads, because I feel like the leads in the original were just kind of okay. I think that these two totally blow them in the water. I think that Rachel Zegler was a huge snub for Best Actress. I think she could have easily fit in there. But I'm a musical kid. I'm a theater nerd. I love that stuff. I love the singing and dancing. It sets my heart right. I find it exciting. I find it kinetic and magical, and I just think it's a travesty that he waited this long in his career to make a musical. So
the one you said was snubbed. She didn't even get an invite to the Oscars. Did you see that?
I just read a little while ago that they invited her to present one of the awards, so they're kind of making amends that way.
Right.
So
okay, good.
Yeah.
Nice save from them. John, what did you think?
I knew Josh really loved this movie, so I did not really enjoy this movie, but I'm going to play nice. Now, I think had I seen the original and knew Well, I know who hasn't seen the original. I haven't though. But maybe if I saw the improvement over the original, this one would. Maybe it would appeal to me more if I had seen, how Spielberg did better with it. It was the cinematography was amazing. I've seen like when they swoop into the ballroom and watch them dance and stuff. That was amazing. The colors were great. I didn't mind the acting. I think what's her name? Ariana DeBose, is that her name?
Yeah.
Yeah, Bose. She's going to get it. I'm pretty sure all the hype seems to be in her direction. She's not my favorite in that category, but she was good. I did not like the guy that played Riff at all. He undersold it to me. And it took me a while to come around on musicals, I will admit. It was only my daughter getting into musicals that really started me coming around on them. But this triggered those old feelings of what musicals were to me. And so it wasn't my favorite. No, I will have to say I didn't buy them as street tough gang people at all.
That's one of the things you should definitely see the first one because there's nothing says street toughs like a bunch of people just, doing pirouettes down the streets. I am here for every second of that. I know it's absurd. I know it's ridiculous. And I love every second of it unapologetically. And I have to say, it's funny that you love the cinematography because I actually thought that was the weakest element of the movie.
Really? Wow. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Too much of that lens flare stuff that he leans on way too much in his recent movies.
Well, that's Janusz Kaminski, right?
Yeah, it's become a crutch, I think, and it's a little distracting.
Yeah. But there were things I did like about it for sure, but it wouldn't be my pick.
Nick, what do you think?
Okay, so full disclosure, my grandmother, this was her favorite movie. So growing up, I've seen this movie, the original, the 1961 movie, so many times in my life. And there's a sentimental place with that. And actually, this was the first movie I saw during the pandemic. I actually saw it on my birthday because it was happened to play it in the theater. So seeing it in the theater, I think really helped because it really let me absorb all the greatness of these songs. And anything with Stephen Sondheim always is a good indicator that I'll like a movie. And I'll be honest, I love musicals. I think that if it's done right, it could be great. If it's done bad, it could be really bad. So it's kind of like one of those, like you have to walk that fine line. But I was really intrigued when I heard that Spielberg was redoing West Side Story because it's almost a perfect movie, like the 61 movie, in my opinion. They like in terms of like it being just such a masterpiece of musicals and American cinema. And I thought he did a really great job with this one. I thought it was really well shot. The performances are excellent. It's just such a beautiful yet tragic story. And it's a tale told as time because, Romeo and Juliet and all that stuff. But I really, really, I loved it. And I think that Ariana is 100% winning Best Supporting Actress. I can't see a narrative where she doesn't win. And I think that's only one of the few times that the same role, because Rita Moreno won for the 61 movie, she's actually in this movie, that the same character wins the Oscar. I can't think of how many offhand, but it's very, very few. If it happens for her, which I'm pretty confident it will.
Let's see. I mean, I haven't seen it, so I cannot comment on it. I'm sorry. So let's make a shorter list. 5 out of 10. So, John, which would be your 5?
So I'll definitely put Coda in there.
Mm-hmm.
Power of the Dog I'd put in there. Oh boy. I'll put in West Side Story for its strengths. Again, it's not my best overall. And going beyond there is kind of tough, I'll be perfectly honest.
Do I get a 6 then? No, I'm joking.
What other ones do we have here? I wouldn't put in the Guillermo del Toro one. I wouldn't put in Drive My Car.
Then you have Belfast, Licorice Pizza, Dune.
I would put Belfast and Dune in there. So is that 5?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
I would put those 2.
Okay. Josh, what about you?
Well, I've only seen 5, so those would be
okay. Good enough.
Short and sweet.
Yes. Nick?
Power the Dog, Belfast, Licorice Pizza, West Side Story, and Coda.
Okay. And I would go with Dune, Power of the Dog, I would go Drive My Car, Coda, and did I say Licorice Pizza?
No.
Okay, so that one then. So that's 5.
Boo.
All right. What? Boo.
I
Okay.
booed your licorice pizza.
Okay. Wasn't sure.
Am I kicked off your show?
No. You can stay as long as you like. Okay, so we are 1 hour and 5 minutes in. Do we talk about the actor categories quickly, or maybe the international movie, or let's do international movie.
I have nothing to say on. I haven't seen any of the international nominees, so I have nothing for this one.
Well, you did see. No, you didn't see Drive My Car. You said, right? Okay, yeah.
Let's see. International. Okay, we have Drive My Car, Flea, The Hand of God, Lunana, A Yak in the Classroom, and The Worst Person in the World.
That besides the Drive My Car, the only one I saw there was The Worst Person in the World, which won me over. I started off not liking it and thought it was aptly named because I wasn't liking her. But
Yes.
the movie won me over. There's a lot of good about that movie, and I would pick it over Drive My Car, actually.
Wow. It is getting added to the Criterion Collection, so it's going to be released in June. So that's a pretty rare distinction for The Worst Person in the World.
Nice.
Have you seen it, Nick?
No, it's not playing anywhere near me, but I'm like dying to see it.
Right.
So the people who run the theaters near me, they're the worst person in the world.
Yeah.
Any of the international movies have I seen? Only Drive My Car because it's on HBO.
All right. I've seen Drive My Car, Flea, and The Worst Person in the World. I think Flea is excellent. By the way, I think it's nominated for animated movie as well.
It is, yeah.
It's really good. If you have the chance, check it out. But I think I would go with The Worst Person in the World as well.
Oh, yeah, good.
Yep. I liked it quite a bit. Okay, so actresses?
Some of these.
Okay.
I'll jump in this one and say that, like, for the supporting actress one, is, as much as big of a West Side Story-aholic as I am, I would actually kind of not mind seeing Kirsten Dunst take this one because I think her time is well overdue to get some flowers.
Amen, Josh. That was exactly what I secretly hope that she wins. And a lot of my other friends, they think I'm nuts, but
I mean, I have no problem with Ariana getting it. That's fine. She's wonderful, but
she's excellent. I'm always like an underdog. Well, underdog. I really love Kristen. That's what I thought. Like subconsciously. I love Kristen Dunst. Give her an Oscar.
John, what do you think?
I don't think she's going to, but I would be happy with her winning it as well. This is supporting actress, right?
Yes.
That whole category was quite strong. Like I said, I like Judi Dench's portrayal. I liked Ingenue's job in King Richard. So yeah, it's a strong category overall. I wouldn't be disappointed with any of those winning.
I haven't seen. Okay, so that's for supporting role actress. Actress in a leading role. I haven't seen any of the nominations there. I have nothing to contribute on that one.
In a leading role?
Yeah, nothing. None of those.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let me see. I got to look up who it is.
I got Ricardo's because Nicole Kidman is nominated.
Jessica Chastain, Olivia Colman, Penelope Cruz, Nicole Kidman, Kristen Stewart.
I'm giving this one to Chastain.
I would give it to her.
See, and
she's got the most buzz too. I think she's got it as well.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think
Kristen
so.
Stewart has got a bit of buzz, but
I think Nicole Kidman's going to win for one reason and one reason only. It's because Hollywood likes to. Okay, they like movies about themselves, especially when it's a biopic, and it's someone like Lucille Ball, and she's an icon. And I feel like a lot of times when you're rolling the dice and it's a biopic, I mean, they're both biopics because it's Tammy Faye Bakker, but I feel like that has that extra Hollywood history component that kind of puts it over. Even though I don't think she should win, Nicole Kidman, I could sort of see that happen.
I don't think so. I think the Academy would know that there'd be too much pushback from all the people that were really angry that Nicole got cast in the part in the first place.
Watch it be Olivia Colman that wins for The Lost Daughter.
I'd be fine with that.
The votes.
That was a movie I actually saw, and I liked it. So I wouldn't be sad to see her win. I don't see Nicole taking it at all, to be honest with you.
We'll see. All right. So actor in a supporting role. and then leading role. Then I'm going to let you guys go because it's getting late. Okay, so actor in a supporting role. We have Kieran Hines for Belfast, Troy Kotsur for Coda, Jesse Plemons, The Power of the Dog, J.K. Simmons, Being the Ricardos, and Cody Smith-McPhee for The Power of the Dog. John, what do you think?
I think it's going to be between Troy, whatever his last name is.
Kotsur?
Yeah, from Coda, or not Jesse, but the other guy from Power of the Dog. What's it?
Okay, Cody Smith-McPhee.
Yeah, I think it's between those two, but I don't know. I didn't see all of those, but
I'm not sure, to be quite honest. Josh, what do you think?
This is supporting or regular?
Supporting.
We'll go Cody, because I Jesse Plemons and J.K. Simmons, I don't even know why he's here, to be honest with you.
I haven't seen Being the Ricardos. Is he in it a lot or not enough to be nominated?
Really. I mean, he's in it enough, but it's J.K. Simmons doing his thing.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Got it. Nick, what do you think?
I agree with John. It's between Troy and Cody. Yeah. If I had to guess who's going to win, I don't know. I think it might be Coda, because I could see the votes split in for Power the Dog and some of the other ones. And winning the SAG award always helps in one's favor, like it did for, I think Jessica Chastain actually won the SAG award, so it helps her in that regard too. So I would bet on him, but it might be Cody Smith-McPhee. I think that's how you pronounce this.
Yes.
Every time I see his name, I'm like, that's not right. And then I look at it, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's SMIT, no H. And to me, that looks weird as well, to be honest. Yeah. Okay, so we have Cody versus Coda. So let's see how it goes. All right. Sorry. Couldn't resist. Okay, so lastly, actor in a leading role. We have Javier Bardem for Being the Ricardos, Benedict Cumberbatch, The Power of the Dog, Andrew Garfield for Tick, Tick, Boom, which I haven't seen, Will Smith, and Denzel Washington for The Tragedy of Macbeth. John, what do you think?
I think this is going to be the most interesting one to watch that night. I think Will Smith will take it. He's not the one I would go for. But I also could see Cumberbatch getting it, and Andrew Garfield's been getting a lot of buzz too. So, he could upset the whole thing. I don't think Denzel will get it, or Javier Bardem. I don't think either one of those really have a shot. But it could be an interesting one to watch. I think it'll be Will Smith, but if I had to pick, I would pick Cumberbatch.
All right. Josh, what do you think?
Yeah, pretty much exactly the same thing. I mean, for as much as I didn't really buy Nicole Kidman as Lucille Ball, I bought Javier Bardem even less as the Arnaz.
Okay.
So that's a hard pass for me. Didn't see Tick, Tick, Boom. I want to, but I haven't gotten a chance to yet. King Richard, I haven't seen it. Will Smith probably will take it. He seems to be getting the most buzz. And I tried watching Tragedy of Macbeth twice, and both times I was asleep about 10 minutes into it.
Jesus. Okay.
What a tragedy.
Yes, indeed. Gorgeous movie. It's like watching like a screensaver with people reciting Shakespeare over it. So it was just very.
I haven't seen it. That's from one of the Coen brothers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
Francis is in it, right?
Yes.
Francis McDormand, I mean.
Yeah.
I say it like I know Francis McDormand, but Francis.
So, Nick, what do you think?
I actually watched Tick, Tick, Boom last week. You would like it, Josh. If you like Rent and you like Jonathan Larson's life story, it's a really good movie. Even though I'm kind of allergic to Lin-Manuel Miranda, because I don't know.
He's the only composer that exists anymore. Did you know that?
Yeah, and he was made in a factory somewhere with his EGOT that's coming very soon. Yeah. Andrew Garfield was really amazing in it. I've warmed up to him over the years, in terms of taking him more seriously as an actor. He was really good in that. It is probably going to Will Smith, but if Power the Dog sweeps, I could see a scenario where Benedict Cumberbatch wins, because he is incredible. I think he gives probably the best overall performance because, he's just so great at it. I think it's kind of funny that the two people who already won Oscars were kind of writing off Javier Bardem and Denzel Washington. They got their Oscars. They don't need
J.K. Simmons, why?
Yeah, we don't need to give Nicole Kidman a second Oscar, even though we live in a world where Renee Zellweger has 2 Oscars.
Oh God! Did you need to remind us of that?
That was rough.
Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Grim.
but I think it is probably Will Smith though, because it feels like a constellation prize. Like he's good and everything, and now we finally got to give him one. And it's a safe pick because it's a biopic. So
yeah,
good point. All right, so yeah, that covers it pretty much. Did you guys want to talk about any other of the movies nominated, or?
The only other ones I've seen were ones that are up for special effects and stuff like that. So, I mean, those are neither here nor there. And I did listen to all the songs. I think Lin-Manuel is going to take that again.
what?
For Encanto, I do.
Wait, so Beyonce and Billie Eilish and like all these people are in there? Like Van Morrison? I don't know.
The Beyonce song didn't work for me. I'm sorry, Nick.
Oh, it didn't either for me, but I just think of like the old Oscar voters that are probably like, they see a name and they're just like, oh, I'm going to check it off.
I remember that name.
I don't
check.
That's what's going to make Van Morrison win.
Yeah, and I actually like his song, but because of his politics these days, I don't know if enough people will vote for him. And I get that. I wouldn't vote for him for that reason either, but it was a good song and worked in the movie.
So, John, you mentioned you saw all the nominated movies for visual effects. Which one?
No. I said the only other ones I've seen fall into that category, but so like Spider-Man and Shang-Chi, I think. But that's also up against Dune, so I think Dune's going to get the... Yeah.
And Free Guy and No Time to Die.
Yeah, didn't see those two. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, I've only seen No Time to Die, and I don't know why it's there. Visual effects.
Right.
I don't get it. And Dune, Dune is...
I was just going to say Summer of Soul is probably going to win Best Documentary, as it probably should. It was an incredible documentary, and I can't wait to see Questlove accept his award on stage.
Our buddy Questlove, Nick.
We saw Questlove at the Rock Hall. That's the true story.
Yeah.
I did love that documentary. It's the only one I've seen, though, so I can't really compare it. But I did love it.
I actually met Stanley Nelson, who is the director of Attica, because he was at a film festival that I worked at, which is a long story. But Stanley's also very nice. He did Freedom Writers and in those kinds of documentaries, like for PBS, and he's such a nice guy. So I would love Stanley win, but it's going to go to Questlove, I think, for Summer of Soul, which is really incredible what he did, taking this like almost long lost footage, or what was thought of as lost footage, and made it such a beautiful film. So shout out to Questlove, our friend.
Your pal. All right. So I guess that covers it for the Oscars. Do you guys have anything to add, or you're good?
Wish I had more time to watch all of these. I'm intrigued to see all of them. I mean, even though I probably won't like most of the ones that are left that I haven't seen. But
my last question would be, do you guys think it's a strong year overall?
No.
For Oscars? Okay.
No.
I think so in a way. I think it is from the standpoint of like the technical side of things, like the way the films are shot. But the movies themselves, like especially the 10 Best Picture nominees, they were a little hit and miss for me in terms of like if I would want to rewatch them again. Like I don't know if there's very few of them I would. But on a technical level, I think it is incredible what some of these directors did, like Spielberg with West Side Story, or even Drive My Car, which I was a little lukewarm on. It is incredible the way that they're shot. But yeah, I don't know about rewatching some of these.
And I don't know if we're going to have anything memorable in that list 10 years from now.
Watch it be Don't Look Up.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. Anyway, what a downer of an ending, Nick.
Oh, I'm sorry.
God damn it, Nick.
Well, yeah.
All right. So, guys, I gotta thank you for your time. It was fun.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Where can we reach you online, John?
You can check out my new podcast. Kidding. I do not have a podcast. You can find me on Twitter at bookmindset.com or .com. There's no .com. At bookmindset.
All right.
There should be.
Sounds good. Okay, so Josh, what about you?
Well, my podcast for real podcast is sort of inactive right now, but you can still find me on the Twitter from time to time. on there at I don't even remember the Twitter handle. I'm looking it up right now at Rock Movies Pod.
Rock Movies.
My other one is sort of on a bit of a hiatus right now too. So Josh F618. So
all right,
may or may not get back on there soon. I'm not really sure yet. We'll see.
There are important things going on in the world, so Twitter can wait a little bit sometimes. Nick, what about you?
I actually do have a podcast. It's Rock and Retrospect. And the podcast account for that is at Rock and Retropod. I've had Josh and John as guests and hopefully Patrick maybe someday. And I have my own personal account, which is at Nick D Bambach. I hope everyone checks out the podcast and also the wonderful podcast that Josh and Patrick. Of course, if you're listening to Patrick's podcast, you would know, but they both have really wonderful podcasts too.
Oh, thanks.
And John's future wonderful podcast.
All right. So thanks again, guys. And we will talk again soon. And enjoy the Oscars on Sunday.
Yes.
Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.